Hello and welcome everyone. It's Shanna. So glad you're here today. Now today we are working with Craft and Kimmy's and we have got her Pretty Posie stencil set. It is a 2-layer 6x6 stencil and I've got her ink. I've got the Charming Chartreuse. I have got the Luscious Lemon. I have the Cool Cantaloupe. And I will also bring in a little bit Amazing Azure. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this A2 size panel here. I just brought in a piece of cardstock to lay underneath it so I wouldn't get my glass mat all inky. I'm going to bring in some washi tape. We're going to tape this down and we are going to get to stenciling this background. And it is really pretty. It really turns out nice. I like this 2-layered stencil and I could see using just all different kinds of colors with it. So I just pulled up pansies on, or posies, I'm sorry, did I say pansies? Posies on Google and checked them out to see the different colors, and I decided to go with the yellow colors. And how convenient, I've got a piece of yellow paper there. I didn't even plan that. So I'm just going to bring in all my inks, and I will speed this up because it does take me a little bit of time to do all of the stenciling on here. So I've sped this up considerably so that you won't have to sit here and watch me for a long time stenciling this. But I am just using that Luscious Lemon on the larger flowers. There are some smaller flowers and then there are some dots as well on this particular layer of the stencil. But I'm going to put yellow all around there, and then I'm going to bring in the Cool Cantaloupe, and I'm going to put it near the center of my flowers, and it will add some dimension to our flowers. And then also on this layer are the smaller flowers and then some dots. And so I'm going to be working on those as well. I'm chatting on some friends are on a live, and I was chatting on there. So for these smaller flowers, I decided to bring in that Amazing Azure ink. And I'm using just a piece of Post-it note to kind of help me to keep from bleeding into other colors with my... I'm using a small blending brush, but there are some areas that's tight. So I tried not to bleed too much. I had a little bit, but in the final card, you won't see it. So I'm bringing in my next layer, and this is where I'm going to bring in the orange for the centers of the florals and for the dots. And then I'll bring in some green for my leaves, and we'll get this everything stenciled up, and it'll just be beautiful. And the green, again, is Charming Chartreuse. And these are all Craft and Kimmy inks. I've got the mini ink cubes that I'm using. And they're good and juicy, so you get good coverage. Just trying to make sure I get all of my leaves covered. And I decided to take a baby wipe and wipe that off just so I wouldn't smear with my orange. And then I used a towel to dry it before I came in with my ink. I'm just getting all of those little dots that are on there. And look at this panel. Is it not gorgeous or what? So I went ahead and stopped the camera and I pulled some pieces together that I could put my card together with. So I brought some panels in, and I needed to get a card base. I didn't have that. And I die cut a strip out of that orange cardstock that's going to be my layer. And I'm going to bring in the Happy Birthday sentiment. And this is cute. It's got little cupcakes for the A's in happy and the A in birthday. So it's a fun little stamp set. And there are lots of birthday sentiments on this stamp set from Craft and Kimmy. And there's some fun ones. I'm using, excuse me, I had a cough there. I'm using Happy Birthday. And then on the inside, I'll put, I hope your day is as wonderful as you are. But let me read you some of these sentiments because they are fun. You're how old? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Get out the fire extinguisher. May this day be full of sweet surprises. Didn't you just have one last year? Age is just a number, in your case, a big one. Wishing you the biggest slice of happy today. May the happy in your birthday last all year, and count your blessings, not your wrinkles. Isn't that a great set? So you can pick that up at Craft and Kimmy's. I'll link all the materials in the description box below so you can check it out. And if you like what you see, please hit the like button and consider subscribing. I would certainly appreciate it. I'm trying to grow my channel, and I'm nearing 2,000 subscribers, so if you would consider subscribing, I would greatly appreciate it. So I've got a panel here to create my card base with, and I've laid my little score buddy somewhere, so I had to bring in my big Spellbinders scoring board to score it. And so I'm just going to get my card base ready, and we'll get to assembling our card. We've got all the elements here, I think, and then I'll decide to bring in something else for a focal point. I was thinking about layering that orange with some blue just to kind of give some separation there, but I decided not to. You'll see there's 2 fingerprints on the back of that where I touched it with my inky fingers. So I took a minute and cleaned my fingers, and I thought, well, I'll just flip that panel over and you'll never see it. Most of it's covered anyway because we're layering this orange on there. I just wanted to bring kind of the colors back in that are on my stenciled panel there. And for my stenciled panel, I'm just going to bring in some foam tape and just get it taped or added on there just so we can have a little bit of dimension. And it'll also help since I did die cut a piece out of the center of that orange panel. And then we'll get our stenciled panel laid down on there. I think it's just beautiful, so springy, so fun and airy. I like it a lot. And my heater's kicked on. It is the first day of spring, but we've had snow flurries today. We've had beautiful weather this past week, but we had that storm come in and then a cold front behind it, and it's just been a little bit crazy. So now I've decided I wanted to bring in a focal point of flower, and I want it to match my Craft and Kimmy inks. I did die cut it out of yellow, and so I'm just putting my inks down on it just to make it match nicely with my stenciled panel, and then we'll have this for a focal point. And I'm doing the 2 largest ones with the Luscious Lemon, and then I'm doing these smaller with the Cool Cantaloupe. And these are all layering. They'll all layer on top of each other. And I'm just going to put some thin foam dimensionals between each layer of the flowers and just give it a little bit of dimension. And I'm just going to twist these to where my flowers are just angled in different areas there. And then we'll add the ones with the orange centers, get them positioned, trying to get my foam tape covered up there. And we'll bring in another layer. And there we go. So we've got some good dimension on that. I think it looks nice. Now I've got these little centers here, and I'm going to lay some glue down, and then I need to get these cupped. So I'm going to bring in my stylus, and I'm going to try and cup them on that magnetic or that magic mat, but it won't. So I'll bring in my little rubber mat and sprinkle them on there, and then we'll just cup them up, and we'll get them laid down in the center of this. Basically, they're like little stars, and you just take your stylus and poke it right in the center of it, and it'll draw the edges of the stars up, and it'll be like a little cup, and it just adds some dimension for the centers of your flowers. And then I'll just kind of drop them in that little puddled area of glue and fill in the centers, and we'll have like a darker orange in the center of our floral. And it'll match our layers and our sentiment. So one by one, I'll just get them laid down on here. And I don't know, I think there's like 15 of those little stars there, and I'll just get most of them laid down there and just kind of fill in that center. And I think this little die set paired nicely with the stencil. On my stencil, I did take my white jelly roll pen and put a little dot in the center of all of the flowers, the yellow and orange ones and the blue ones. And I think that was a nice little finishing touch to it. So we'll just get all these little I don't know, are they stamens laid down in the center of our card here? And then we'll get it laid down on our... I don't want to cover up much of my stenciled panel, so I'm going to try and put it on the side as close to the edge as possible without hanging over too much, so that I can get it into my envelope. But I really wanted that stencil panel to show. And you can see I've got those 2 strips there where I trimmed my panel down. My panel was actually 3 3/4 by 5 because of the way I layered it. But I kept those strips because I knew I wanted to put them on the inside. Now I'm just going to bring in some enamel gems that I had in my stash, and I'm going to choose some yellow ones. We'll put some by the happy birthday, and then we'll put some up there in the white areas around our flowers, and just add a little sparkle and shine to our card. And I think that looks nice. And I'm going to show you my card, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I wanted to use these strips of paper. And I also remembered there was a sub-sentiment that I wanted to add to this card. And I mentioned it, I hope your day is as wonderful as you are. And so I'm going to try and put my stencils part of my card off of my Misty so that we don't get it dirty or anything. And then we'll just get this stamped. I should have stamped it before I put the flower on there, because that dimension was quite a bit. But we'll just ink this up. For the ink on this, I'm using the Wicked Black ink from Craft & Kimmy, and I'll stamp it a couple of times and get it where I want it, and then we'll be good to go. And then we're going to bring in a piece of this strip that I have cut off of it, and I'm just trying to decide what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the smaller one at the bottom of this, and then that will finish off the inside of the card nicely. We've got a nice area to write. And then I'm going to take the larger strip and I'm going to lay it down on my envelope so that I'll have a coordinating envelope to go with this card. And I think it turned out super cute. So I hope you like it. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.